This is the Seahawkers Podcast, episode 353. I'm Brandon Schultz of the Military Seahawkers, and joining me from the road in a hotel, he's my good buddy, Adam Emmert.
Yeah, buddy. The Seahawks went out and spanked the kitty this weekend. It was great.
The what now?
They spanked the kitty.
It's not as scary as a Jaguar because they only scored 7 points.
No, if you said spank the Jaguar, it doesn't have the same connotation. They spanked the kitty.
Spank the kitty. I don't know if this is a phrase I'm comfortable with.
Well, it's out there now. And that's what they did. 31-7.
The Seahawks win 31-7. We get to see some Geno Smith not making any mistakes. Tyler Lockett catching the ball all over the field and making some plays. It was fun.
Geno was super sharp. And that was fun to watch. He especially was really sharp on all those over routes to both Tyler and DK.
How about him using the middle of the field? That was fun to see.
They did. From the beginning of the game, they started to attack the middle of the field. And look at that. It made it so that the sidelines were now open.
Well, they did. So
amazing.
They did a couple things. The offensive line protected Geno, so that helped. They used the middle of the field, so that helped. Running the ball, they were okay here and there.
Alex Collins was fine. They were fine when Alex Collins was on there. It's just when they brought in that other guy that it didn't look good.
Alex Collins with a groin injured to the point that, they're not even sure that he can go was a better running back than the other running backs on the team.
Right. Yeah. I'm not even going to mention the other running back's name at this point. Like, it's just Alex Collins and waiting for Chris Carson.
Well, we got to see a nice, I think Homer touched the ball once as a running back, and I think DJ Dallas got a couple runs.
On a give-up Homer draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have one of those a game.
Do you? I'd like to go a full game with that one.
He's a master at that.
Well, yeah, he's called upon to do it. That's for sure. So enough repetitions, he'd become a master at it for sure.
Well, we didn't get a give-up play along the goal line. Speaking of the running back that shall not be named, for the first two plays of that particular drive, Alex Collins able to get them back inside the 1 yard line on third down. And then on fourth down, it was Geno Smith time.
Two tight ends on the right side. Geno Smith diving over with the ball. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks. On the quarterback sneak, Geno, who's a big guy anyway, at 6'3", almost 6'4", jumps in the air, dives over the top of his center, reaches out with the ball, and he scores. The Seahawks on top first, 6-0.
Nice play by Geno. Little Superman action there. It was a little disheartening to see him get stuffed time and again there on the goal line. But then again, it was really heartening to see them be like, oh, we're on the 1 yard line. Just run the damn ball.
That's true. I'm excited, when Chris Carson comes back and is getting those carries on the goal line. Although for whatever reason, they seem to take out Chris when they get inside the 20. Maybe that'll change. But I was happy to see on fourth down them taking the chance, especially against a Jacksonville Jaguars team, not messing around, go out there and get the touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, did that, and they did what they were supposed to do in this game. So, a lot of the things that I've seen since the game is, well, they did this well, they did that well, but it was the Jaguars. And then,
I think everybody recognizes that, though, right?
Right. And here's the thing with that. Like, yes, it was the Jaguars, but they didn't go out there and win 17-14. You know what I mean? Like, they actually went out there and they spanked the kitty. And we did, like,
Stop saying spank the kitty.
I don't know that I can. But, yeah, they slaughtered them, man. And that's what you're supposed to do against those teams. Even though, was it jarring to you, Brandon, at the beginning of the game when they first popped up the graphics on the bottom of the screen for the score and everything? And it was Jaguars 1-5, Seattle 2-5. How jarring was that? To be like, oh God, we're these
one
guys.
Win better than this team.
Yeah. And the same in the loss column. Like, that just, it felt so bad. And then you watch the Jaguars go out there and pull a lot of the crap that this team has pulled throughout the first 7 games of the year. Just untimely penalties, personal fouls, just stupid stuff, right? And you can tell that's the difference between a good and a bad team right there.
And that's where I at least have some optimism with regard to this game, because Jeff Scott, he comes in via Twitter at Jeff Scott AZ12, says one thought, one question on the Jags game. One, we saw what we could have looked like with Bevel without Wilson in this game. Two, did we play well or just look good against a very bad team? And I think you were kind of getting at this, Adam, with the idea of, well, they won 31-7. Would you rather look good against a bad team or look average and win that kind of 17-14 game against a bad team? And really, if that would have happened, if Geno Smith has an okay game, maybe he turns it over and they end up getting the score and the game stays close and they win that 17-14 game, I think we're still walking out of here saying, well, at least they got the win going into the bye week.
Yeah, for sure. And you heard the players in the press conference, too, talk about how important that is to them, being able to go into this bye week on a win and, like, just the relief that many of them have felt. And then also, too, like, getting that win is, well, it's giving them a chance for when Russ comes back after the bye. You played yourself into at least having a chance. That's
where we are, at the midway point in the 2021 season. But yes, it does. The Russell Wilson injury does speak to it. I wish they could have pulled out one of those last two losses, because it would feel so much different at, what would it be then, 4-4, right?
4-4. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we were gunning for. That's what we talked about going down the stretch of the, 3 games without Russ. Like, hey, man, if there's a way that they can come out of this 4-4, you're in pretty good shape. And, 3-5, definitely not the same. And the margin for error is even smaller. But you've seen this defense, I think, actually make legit improvements for the past 3-4 weeks now. Like, at this point, we can say, okay, these guys can be a mediocre defense.
And we saw another turnover from Quandre Diggs in this game.
Lawrence drops back, looks, cocks his arm, throws deep. Ball's going to be picked off. Diggs at the 20-yard line, at the 25, knocked out of bounds. As I'm not sure who he was throwing to, he had 2 receivers, one deep and one underneath, and the ball went right between them to Diggs. And the Seahawks have a takeaway, and Diggs has his 3rd interception of the season.
Diggs made that look really easy. And in his post-game press conference, Diggs gave a lot of credit to himself for studying the film and saying that he jumped the route. So give that man some credit, because he's still trying to get paid.
Oh my goodness! Some of the press conferences after this game were just gold, and Quandre maybe being the top amongst them. I love listening to Quandre Diggs talk, dude. I love it. Now, the one thing I will give him a little critique on. I enjoy the word dope as much as the next middle-aged guy, but maybe bring the dopes down. Like, you ever watch Trailer Park Boys? And there's J-Rock, the white Canadian rapper. That's like, the struggling rapper that everybody kind of has in their life. Like, somebody knows one of those
guys. We all have a struggling white rapper in our life.
Yeah, a DJ or a rapper, right? But anyways, he just says, you know what I'm saying all the time. And at one point, one of his buddies like, it's too many, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Same with the dopes with Quandre Diggs. It's too many dopes.
You know what? Maybe it's not for me, because I didn't pick up on it. And I usually pick up on that stuff.
I even heard Tyler Lockett drop a dope in his press conference.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. That's slang. Tyler Lockett speaks like a British dictionary. What's going on here?
No, he doesn't. Come on now.
He's pretty straight-laced, man.
He is a little bit, but I do think that's more for the press conferences. These guys, I think a lot of people tend to talk differently in the press conferences than when they're just with their teammates.
That's a great point, and that's why I love Geno's press conference so much.
Yeah,
he started out saying all the right things, my opportunity, da 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 da. Then at one point, they asked him about a throw or something like that. And he's like, "Yeah, this is what I do," and you saw it pop out. He's like, yeah, I'm catfish. I'm good at this, dudes. It was great. I loved it.
I like it when Geno comes to the press conference, with his glasses on, intellectual Geno.
Yeah.
I like the personalities on this team.
I do too. And which makes it hard with the lack of success in the win column so far this year. But at least they got one this one.
It would be a lot more fun if DK hugging goalposts after touchdowns, was coming after a season where you only have 1 or 2 losses on the books.
Shotgun formation, play fake, looks far side, throws, puts the ball up, reaching up, making a catch, DK Metcalf, touchdown, Seahawks. DK, I believe it was over Shaq Griffin from 16 yards. Geno Smith is perfect here in this first half today.
Got a lot of reaction from our listeners after that catch by DK. Not just
Really?
on the hugging the goalpost, but the little brothering of Shaquille Griffin. I think because it was over Shaq in the way it was over Shaq on that catch, it got people fired up.
Well, I enjoyed the play very much. It's definitely not one of them that stuck out the most in my mind, I guess. But you saw Shaq have some tough moments in that game. I mean, he gave up 2 touchdowns to DK.
Yeah.
In the second one, Archuleta is like, they brought him in motion. So, like, Shaq's on the inside and he can't get out to the out-breaking route. BS, dude. That was piss poor coverage. Like, you just gotta get out there a little bit further. Like, I don't understand it. But, yeah, they made all the excuses in the book for him on the broadcast there. But, yeah, DK manhandled him on the first touchdown there. And then he got called for an unsportsmanlike. Was that for the goalpost?
It was for hugging the goalpost.
Really?
Yeah, we actually got the audio from the refs in the, they mic'd up Pete Carroll in this game. And so we got this moment.
Okay, we've got unsportsmanlike on number 14 of your team. He jumped on the goalpost, and he
jumped over the goalpost?
Hang on.
He jumped over the goalpost?
Hang on.
He could have. He's capable of that.
He jumped on the goalpost upright there. I guess you can't use something to celebrate.
Did you jump on the goalpost? Yeah. The last no. I'll take responsibility for that. I should have taught you that.
If you had trouble hearing that, Pete Carroll's on the sideline talking to DK, says, "Did you jump on the goalpost?" And DK says, "Yeah, I just thought you couldn't dunk it." He says, "That's my bad. I should have taught you that." I think it was a little tongue in cheek.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he should have taught him that. Or the NFL could pull the stick out of their ass and quit being such a, just stuck up. I don't get it, man. I don't get the no fun league part of the league.
He could have jumped on an offensive lineman and bear hugged him the same way as the goalpost. What's the difference?
Throw the flag. Throw the flag if he does that too. That's too much joy. We can't have that. I just don't get it, man. I really don't.
That to me is very different than taunting. If you can have group celebrations where you throw a pretend bowling ball and everybody falls down on the ground, how is that any less disrespectful than just going and hugging the goalpost? Now, humping the goalpost, like, I could understand that. That's probably going overboard. But no, he just hugged it.
I'm surprised they didn't get fined for spanking the kitty.
You're not going to let it go. You're not.
No, that was the last one. But it was fun.
I doubt if it is.
No, it is. I promise. And I wish everybody could see how red that made you turn.
Well, part of what goes into spanking the kitty is doing trick plays like this.
2nd down and 4. Quick toss left side. It's going to be a throwback to Geno Smith. He's got it now. He's going to throw. He's got Tyler Lockett, who makes the catch at the 15, the 10, the 5, drop at the 4-yard line. A little razzle-dazzle. How do you do by the Seahawks? DJ Dallas heading to the right side with a toss, throws it back to Geno, who waits for Tyler Lockett to uncover on that sail route for 28 yards down to the 4-yard line, make it the 5-yard line of Jacksonville.
This team's having fun when they're just throwing trick plays around.
Yeah, you got the flea flicker action going on there. That was a good time, and I'm glad you're embracing our new catchphrase. It was overall a fun game to watch if you're a Seahawks fan. Like a relief, finally, to just watch the team go out there and perform, get a comfortable lead, never feel in danger, feel like maybe they're actually saving the season here. All of it was a good time.
Now, I was a little bit disappointed that the defense didn't get the shutout because they had one going in the 4th quarter. I thought they might be able to do it. But after that touchdown, we got the bonus of them lining up for an onside kick and this happening.
Here we go, the onside kick again, right, and kicks it right to Homer, who picks it up on the run, and he's all the way down to the 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown Seahawks! Travis Homer gets it right back. Urban Meyer might think twice before he practices onside kicks again. As Homer just picks that ball up, he was on the front line. It bounced right to him. He ran right between two defenders and outran the Jags to the end zone, and Seattle extends its lead to 30-7.
More fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I heard a lot of people make a big deal out of that play, and I didn't get to watch this live, obviously. I was working, but then going back and watching and not knowing, I didn't have a lot of input like before I watched the game, except for just a couple little things. I knew Travis Homer had something on a kickoff that was a heads-up play. That's all I knew.
Okay.
And so I'm watching the whole game, and I'm finally like, what? I remember towards the end, I was like, well, what in the hell did Travis do? And then it's, right near the end of the game, and it all happened. And maybe it's because I knew something was coming in advance. I was like, oh, he just had the ball kicked to him and then ran. Okay. Like it wasn't nearly as fun for me. And I think it's because I knew it was coming, maybe.
I guess I wasn't thinking of it so much of a heads up play as just a fun play, because I thought you were going to say that people were critical of it, because you could kind of be critical of it, fall on the ball there, cover it up, and take the knee and get out of there. And that way your defense doesn't have to go back on the field. But, and now people know not to kick it to Travis Homer. I didn't hear anybody say that. It was just a thought that went through my head as something who was, if somebody wanted to be super negative about it, they could say that.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Look,
but I have to be honest, I haven't listened to a lot of reaction after this game either.
Right. If anybody in the NFL is ever complaining about running up the score or any of those things, tell them to go, kick rocks, because this is the NFL. This is professional football. If you don't want to get scored on, stop them. Like there's no mercy rule. There's none of that. I mean, be a professional. If you're getting spanked, then you're getting spanked. That's what happens to kiddies. Like when they don't play up to snuff, they get spanked.
Exactly. So we're done with that now.
Yeah.
Jacksonville gets spanked, and Seahawks go into the bye week. Next up, the Packers. We'll probably talk about that next week.
We could do our NFC West roundup here after the break.
I feel weird kind of going to a break just now. We've barely started.
Well, there's no week. It's just bye week next week. I think we'll win, and I'm on the road, and they're going to kick me out of this hotel room in about 20 minutes. So,
well, we got to wrap up then and get you out of your hotel. Well, let's come back after the break and talk NFC West.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at the Seahawks schedule. Are there any more cat teams left on the schedule?
Thankfully, no. No Panthers, right? We don't play
probably
the
so that phrase may be retired for the season.
It's all right.
We cut it all out. Oh no, episode. You know what? We play the Lions.
Oh,
might be able to bring it back.
Well, we might. They still have to win before I can say it though. So, and win big.
It's true. It does have to be a literal spanking.
Yeah, because you don't want to get spanked by the kitty. That's definitely not what you want.
Well, the Cardinals, they didn't get spanked by the Packers, but they did lose 24-21 on Thursday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
It's happy to see that.
Yeah, and Kyler's ankle's questionable at best, it sounds like.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy to see that. He might be out 1 to 3 weeks from the sounds of things.
I'm definitely not happy to see it, but it is inevitable. I mean, it's what we've been talking about, man, both of us. This Cardinals team is going to go on a skid, and Kyler is going to get hurt. It's just how it is. And I'm not rooting for him to get hurt. It's just
you're just rooting to be correct. That's fine.
Right. Yeah. I hope he heals up and has a long and happy life once he's done playing football, walking around on both ankles. That worked great. This is how it should go for him.
Stupid 49ers won over the Bears, putting us in the cellar of the division because they have one fewer loss than we have.
It looked like for a minute there they were going to drop that to Chicago. I mean, yeah. And when they were trailing, the knives were out with the 17 San Francisco fans. Like they were upset.
Well, I think they deserve to be. That's a team that they should beat. And I think we saw why the Bears are, still going to be a struggling team. I of the rookie quarterbacks, though, I do think that Fields is one of the better ones. And he just needs the people around him. I think they were hurting on defense in that game too. So I saw glimpses of a franchise quarterback when I was watching that game. So I think that's good news for Bears fans.
Hey, the second that the Bears get rid of Nagy and Fields has a different coach, he's going to be a better quarterback.
Just don't bring Adam Gase in there, Chicago.
That guy's got to be dead to the league by now, right?
It's got to be.
Unfortunately, the Sam Darnold thing isn't working out how we all hoped, but
no, Matt Stafford thing isn't working out as we hoped either. At least I hoped.
Oh, it's still earlier in this season, Brandon. It is still early in this season. Stafford has, Murray disease. He's just bigger and old.
And now the Rams go, and they're one of the few teams that made a trade at the trade deadline. Did you hear from Jared, your Broncos fan, Jared, on the Von Miller trade to the Los Angeles Rams?
We have not spoken yet. I did call him. He did not answer. He did call while I was working. I did not answer. But their GM, Patton, he is dead to me. That guy is dead to me. I hope he gets fired immediately. You can't help the Rams out. What are you guys doing? What a catfish move.
I understand. They want to get something for an aging veteran player that, who knows how many more years that he has left in him. He probably still has a couple, though. Von Miller's still playing at a pretty good clip.
Well, the Rams say they want to extend him after this year and keep him around for a couple more years.
The thing is I might be for that. The Rams can't pay everybody. You can't continue to pay old stars and expect long-term success.
I don't think they're expecting long-term success.
No, they really want short-term success is what they want.
Yeah. I mean, this is as all in as it gets.
But they're looking at being bad for years to come because of all of this.
Yeah. I was just going to get right to that. Like, in some ways, this is such a blessing in disguise. I mean, the idea that they're going all in on this season, if it doesn't pan out for them, if they say they run up against Tom Brady and he steals their lunch money again and goes to the Super Bowl and they don't win a chip this year, like, man, or if they make the Super Bowl and they lose to the Bills, like, it's going to be detrimental.
No, the Seahawks are going to make the playoffs as a wild card. We're going to face off against them in round one, and we're going to get them back for last year, and that's going to be our Super Bowl this season.
Yeah, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. That'd be awesome. Because if they fall short of a championship this year, this all can't be worth it. You can't think it's all worth it at that point.
No, they're pushing all their chips to the center of the table, and this is going to be it. And I think part of that goes to recognizing that Stafford is at the tail end of his career, and it is weird though. He's not that much older than Russ, but he plays like he's that much older.
There's that, and you got to think too. His body took a pounding for those first 5, 6, 7 years in the league. For sure. I mean, he just got obliterated. I mean,
you could say that about Russ, though, too.
Oh, not like Stafford.
Not like that.
I mean, geez Louise. I mean, he was on god-awful teams for so long. And then on top of all of that, I mean, he was injured early in his career and had to overcome that. I mean, he's been kind of a walking injury since he entered the league. So, yeah, his body just doesn't seem to hold up to the punishment, as well as some other guys. And that's no knock on him. I mean, it would take half of one of those hits to knock me out for a decade. So, like, I'm not calling him, like, weak or anything like that. Just in relation to the other, quarterbacks, his durability isn't exactly the highest.
He doesn't strike me as the Brett Favre type who is going to be able to take a beating like that. Because Favre, I mean, he played with reckless abandon. And it was crazy how healthy he really was able to stay in his later years, too. Outside of the one season with the Jets where he had, I don't, if it was a pec injury, elbow. He was really healthy for most of his career.
all the way up till the end when the hits really, they didn't feel like they used to feel when he got hit and you knew it was done.
Do you see Stafford playing more than 3 years?
3 years? No.
Okay.
No.
You know, we were talking about before the show the bets we would make long term, and this one,
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to mark that down in 2021 and 3 years from now when we're still podcasting, if Stafford's still out there.
Hey, even if our previous bet before the pod comes true, we're still going to be podcasting.
Oh yeah,
it just might be from our emergency bunkers, you know.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a 3 year bet though. That one was a little more long term. But yeah, we could still podcast.
Yeah, why not? It'll be fine. We'll say maybe we're only sending it back and forth to each other, but it'll still be good.
Sending it to each other. We'll have an email list of all of our members of the flock. We can find a way to get it to them. Maybe we can all huddle together in Adam's bunker in the mountains, and that's what you get with your membership as part of the flock at getintheflock.com.
Absolutely, you get a place to go during the apocalypse. I vote that we build like an Ewok type village in the trees. I think that'd be cool. I just think that'd be super sweet. Or as Quandre would say, dope. It would be super dope.
It would be super dope. What we should do is we should have a village in the trees like for the Ewok people, but we should also start tunneling underground. And so we can build a series of underground tunnels on your property. And that's probably going to take a little bit of work, but I think that going underground would be the warmer place to be.
Oh, it certainly is. Yeah, it's a lot less work to stay warm underground than it is in the trees. That's a true fact.
And then if you ever get any fires that come through, then you can huddle in the tunnels. I see a big benefit to a tunnel system on your property.
All right, I get it. We're going to turn into mole people. I love it. It's great. What could go wrong?
Getintheflock.com. A big thanks to our executive producers, DCH, Dustin Mock, Brian Shaw, Kevin Watterson, and Gordon Smith. And also a thanks to Rafe Christofferson, who came in and upped his pledge from $3 a month to $145.44 for the annual pledge. So thanks to Rafe.
Yeah. Dude, Rafe coming in strong. Guess he was inspired by the massive beating down of the Jaguars.
I think he was also inspired by receiving the ticket giveaway that we did ahead of the Jacksonville game.
No, hey, different things, man. Who knew?
And that's one of the things we've been doing this season, giving away our tickets to our listeners and the members of the flock. So if you've been hesitant about getting in, just know that we have, and we come up with, there's certain things. I think we did folks who hadn't been to a primetime game. Right. And even though the Jacksonville one wasn't primetime, I think we carried it over from the previous week. But we'll come up with other things here throughout the season.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a very equitable distribution of the extra tickets. We do the best we can.
We got tiny pieces of Seahawks stuff, and I'm just realizing now it's November. I need to come up with another tiny piece for the month of November. Let's see.
Sweet. Well, tune in during the bye week to figure out what Brandon chooses. That's a cliffhanger right there, otherwise known as a tease in this business.
Well, should I put it up online or let's see. I do have this Rashad Penny signed tiny piece of Seahawks stuff. Actually, it's pretty big for some of these. So I don't know.
I have a question. If you took that tiny piece of Penny there, and you threw it at a giant hole, like either in the ground or in a wall or things like that, would it just like veer away from the said hole and like go somewhere else? Does it have like anti-hole technology?
I'm kind of getting the sense from you that you're out on the possible Rashad Penny piece of Seahawks stuff.
I'm not out. There's some people that would really appreciate it. I mean, why don't we just like cut to the chase and just send it directly to Michael Paul?
Yeah, you think Michael is into it?
Well, yeah, he's the one Penny supporter.
Okay, it might be time to break this out. With Russell Wilson coming off of his injury, I have an absolute football tools of the trade. Russell Wilson. This is numbered to 25.
Ooh. Yeah,
and it has has four little pieces, and one of them's even the N from Wilson on the football.
That's actually kind of cool. It's funny. They should have had the 4 pieces of clothing on the DK one. That would have made more sense.
Would it be 4 pieces of clothing or 4 pieces of other things?
Hard to tell. Hard to tell. You never know. I don't know exactly what goes into a night at DK's house.
As long as the number 4 is involved. That's
Hey, at the end of the day, it resulted in him having a hand in spanking the kitty, and I think that is really great. All right, I'm sorry. I lied. That was
you just had,
this was
you had to get one more gratuitous shot in.
I did. It just fit too well.
See, we got an email here from, yes, tinypiecesofseahawkstuff.com. And yes, tools of the trade, Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay. BFT emailed in, says, "Hi, Adam and Brandon. Just thought I'd have my say on the Bard or John Davison issue you raised last week. I think he should always be the Bard. When you read aloud his thoughts on the podcast using your English accent, it was scary. It was like he was in the room with me. He probably won't hear from the Bard this week as he's talking with his lawyers about copyright and image rights to do with the name. He's concerned that someone else may have got in ahead of him 500 years ago. Incidentally, for what it's worth, I just throw anyone who picks against the Seahawks out of the league. No warnings. Best wishes from the BFT."
Hey, the BFT knows where it's at. I agree with 100% of his email, as per usual. Barry's got it going on.
Is Barry telling us that someone else may own some sort of stake in the name the Bard?
Yeah, isn't that like some sort of Shakespeare reference or something?
Oh, gosh. Yes, it's a Shakespeare reference. Of course it is.
Okay, I wasn't a theater nerd like you, okay?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, give me a John Philip Sousa reference. I'll nail that because I was a band nerd. All right?
Okay.
It's not my nerd wheelhouse.
Obviously, you ruined the whole bit I had planned, but okay.
Catfish!
Okay. I'm really sorry. Can we go back?
No, it's done.
It's over now? Oh, God, now I feel guilty.
Getting the win this week. Oh, it's fitting. 13 picks correct. 2 more than the next person on this list. Gino's coin flip picks with 13 correct.
Catfish!
It was like destined to win this week. It had Gino's coin flip picks had to. They had to.
Had to win.
Yeah.
So congratulations. That's your winner for week 8. And we have a new little flocker up at the top of the Pick'em League standings. Peaceful, easy feeling. Only 7 picks correct in week 8. And that's after a tough week 7 as well. So Honey Holehawk taking the lead, 83 points into first place. Unlimited Hakra in second place with 82 correct. And then at 81, Gino's coin flip picks. He moves into third. Peaceful, easily feeling, Squawk Alley, all there in third place.
Amazing. Man, what a fall from grace for Peaceful, easily feeling. Like that was, I mean, it just been up towards the top the whole year and like just had a struggle fest the last 2 weeks.
3 straight weeks in single digits. And yeah, that everybody kind of had a struggle fest in week 6. So that's understandable. But yeah. Come on, Gary.
You're gonna have to pick it up.
But don't press.
Don't try.
You got to get the mindset back to trusting your picks.
Yeah, you got to feel the flow. It's all a circle.
All good things.
You gotta harness a good block the bed.
Hey, I want to point out that nobody came at me last week about peanut butter cups being the top candy, while several people jumped on you, Adam, about Almond Joy belonging in the garbage.
Yeah, well, my usual joke is that the only taste people have is in their mouths. It doesn't fit in this case, which really angers me as well. You guys are, I don't know, like you're all dropped on your heads as kids or something. I don't know what to say. It just, how do you not enjoy the combination of dark chocolate, coconut, and almonds? Like, what is wrong with you people? You're a bunch of chocolate and peanut butter homers. That's what you are.
Man, you don't even know that Almond Joy is milk chocolate. Mounds is the dark
That's
chocolate.
That's not true.
Mounds is the dark chocolate.
I thought they were both dark chocolate.
No, there is no combination.
Well, I didn't pay attention to the type of chocolate as I'm shoveling them into my mouth as fast as I can because they're delicious.
On to do better and better at life.
All right, man. My do better this week is for Brittany because the reason why I sound like I do is I'm having to borrow Alex's AirPods to do this podcast because Brittany pulled one of her maneuvers that I have been dealing with since we got together and started living together. And that is, I don't know where any of my
Catfish!
is. I have no idea. It's all gone. It's all in places squirreled away that I would never put them, including the microphone I usually take for travel. Couldn't find it for the life of me as I'm scrambling to get ready to go to the airport. I thought it was in the box right below the recording unit where I keep all of the podcast things, where it should go. Nope, not there anymore. So here I am on this week-long travel trip having to do this podcast over AirPods, and the sound quality is not what Brandon is accustomed to. You should have seen his face when I told him this is what was happening. So this is all Brittany's fault, and she needs to do better.
Yeah, see, I even get to hear your voice now. You can't even do your do better without the cracking of the microphone now. Now, see, this is why we need a quality microphone.
I know. I even took it down like 2 notches.
And still, that's why we need professional gear. It cannot handle Adam's do betters.
It can't. And this is all Brittany's fault.
Man.
And I hope that she felt both axles when I ran over her with that bus.
I had Joe Buck down as my do better, but I might have to change mine to Brittany.
Okay.
Because this impacts me too.
It does. It does.
I'll give my do better anyway, though, for Joe. I don't normally mind Joe Buck as an announcer. He doesn't say a ton of things that really bother me, but I was watching Game 6 of the World Series this past week, and Freddie Freeman, he's the Braves' star first baseman, he comes to the plate, he crushes a home run to put the Braves up 7-0 in the 7th inning. So they're running away with it in Game 6. As he's rounding third, Joe Buck makes the comment saying, in what might be his last at-bat as a member of the Atlanta Braves. Come on, Joe. You know that Atlanta fans are watching. There's kids out there who have never seen the Braves win a World Series, and you think this is a great time to speculate on the future of one of their best players, a long-term guy within the organization? I couldn't help but think, imagine, Adam, if after catching the final touchdown of Super Bowl 48, we're all jacked up and celebrating. Here the Seahawks are up 43-8, and we've never seen a Super Bowl win in our lifetime. And the Seahawks had never won the Super Bowl in their franchise at that point either. So, and then you have to hear Joe Buck say, in what might be his final touchdown reception as a member of the Seahawks. We love Doug Baldwin. We don't want to have to think about him on some other team while we're celebrating one of the greatest moments in our team history. So why, Joe, do you feel like that's the call you need to make in that particular moment? Do better.
Well, maybe Joe just thought that he wanted all the Atlanta fans to truly appreciate Freddie, on his way out the door. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. Maybe Joe Buck is a closet Braves hater.
Might be. Hard to tell it not knowing. Yeah. No, that was fun. I haven't watched any baseball for years, and we ended up watching a couple of the World Series games, or at least parts of them. And, growing up, in Montana, there's no baseball teams to root for. And so I ended up watching the Braves quite a bit with my grandpa. And definitely rooted for them when they were on their little run of World Series appearances. Saw them win the one. Yeah, it was kind of fun. I was rooting for the Braves. And plus, the Astros are basically the Patriots' worst of the MLB. Yeah. So, watching them lose, I was like, yeah, dirty cheaters.
Well, plus good. Hank Aaron passed this year. It felt fitting that Atlanta would get the win.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah, I was kind of rooting for him, too. It's funny. For anybody who really, I think people of our age especially, Gen Xers probably saw a lot of the Braves because of TBS. That was on TBS channel. That was where you watched Braves baseball. And unless you were in the market of another baseball team, that probably was the team that you got to see the most.
Absolutely. As far as I knew, the Braves were basically the Cowboys of baseball. They were America's team. Yeah. That's what I figured.
Dale Murphy leading the charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember Sid Bream rounding the bases against the Pirates, running at, half a mile an hour as fast as he possibly can and sliding into home. I remember all those moments. It was fun.
On to better at life.
Yeah. All right. My Better at Life this week is also announcer based. My Better at Life is for Adam Archuleta on this last broadcast. And it's not for his overall performance as a color announcer here, but I really enjoyed, and I was watching it in a condensed version. So I think I caught this a little differently than maybe you would have if you watched the full game. But throughout the second half, Archuleta was taking shots at Gumbel, taking shots like, well, have you ever dressed up? Is there any pictures of you in a costume as an adult? Gumbel, no. Then 10 minutes later, well, do you even give out candy in your neighborhood, on Halloween? Gumbel, no. All grumpy like. And then another 10 minutes later, talking about Halloween, Archuleta brings up to Gumbel again. Well, you probably don't even let kids in your neighborhood during Halloween. He's just ripping Gumbel for being a crotchety old man, which he's always seemed like kind of a fake nice guy and probably secretly a
Catfish!
And Archuleta was just taking shots at him for his soulless approach to Halloween. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Adam Archuleta, better at life than Skip Bayless.
For taking shots at Greg Gumbel.
Yeah. Whichever Gumbel it was. Doesn't matter. Did I say Bryant once?
I don't know.
Okay.
But did I emphasize Greg like you said it wrong before?
I just thought maybe I did. Because I kept trying to self-censor myself to, just say Gumbel.
To say the right Gumbel?
Nah, just Gumbel, and then have an ambiguous Gumbel.
To Mr. Gumbel.
Mm-hmm, to Mr. Gumbel. So I think I did all right. I think I maintained an ambiguous Gumbel.
I think you did too. Now I'm questioning whether I heard something differently, but no, I think you said it correctly.
Yeah, but Archuleta was hilarious. He was just ripping him throughout the second half of the broadcast. And it wasn't like he did it all at once, he spread it out over the whole thing.
Well, my Better at Life this week is for the big show. Mike Holmgren going into the Ring of Honor. See, making it easy on us this past couple weeks, Seahawks, with their Ring of Honor inductions. First, you get Matt Hasselbeck. Now you get Mike Holmgren, a couple stalwarts of that era of Seahawks football. And I gotta love the fact that Mike Holmgren staying on brand during his speech to the 12s at Lumen Field.
I was involved with 3 stadiums, the King Dome, Husky Stadium, and Lumen Field. And it's because of you, this stadium is known as one of the toughest places for an opponent to play. You are amazing. Lastly, you can be very proud of that Super Bowl flag in this stadium. But I want to emphasize and I want to repeat something I said a long time ago. There should be 2.
I think that's fun. I think I'm glad that Mike Holmgren, he could give up on it and say, okay, I'm over it. But you could tell he's never going to be over the fact that the refs screwed over him and the Seahawks in Super Bowl 40. And I'm glad he's hanging on to that.
Yeah. Mike Holmgren, the big show.
I'm happy that those are 2 of the names that we'll get to see up in the stadium now from here on out. I don't know who's next. Do you think they'd go anybody else from that era? Trufant, Max Strong.
Is Hutchinson up there yet?
I don't think Hutch will be there with him only being a 4-year player.
He's so dominant, though.
I know. They did recognize him.
Gets up there.
They recognized him at halftime earlier this season, but it wasn't a Ring of Honor situation. So they had the opportunity to do it.
They punted.
Yeah, or they just turned it over.
Yeah, I would say Trufant has a pretty good shot. I don't know if Max Strong does, but if I had a vote, he would be at the top of my list of next dude from that era to enter the Ring of Honor. But
Max Strong and Joe Nash, just for their volume of games that they've played for Seattle, I feel like both those guys should be in there.
I agree. But hey, it was good on you to have Holmgren as the better at life than Skip Bayless nominee for yourself this week, because out of all the Seahawks coaches, the only one that I've made eye contact with and had an up nod at a gas station. And he's
and
by far
so
my
it's
favorite.
it's not for the Ring of Honor. It's because of the up nod to Adam Emmert at the gas station. Mike Holmgren better at life than Skip Bayless.
That's exactly right. There we go. See, I'm glad we narrowed this down to what really matters and how it affected me personally.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
go Hawks.
Go Hawks.